Okay, so today, let's dive into a place called, get this, Hidden Kashi.
Hidden Kashi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guptakashi.
Uh-huh.
Not exactly a name you hear every day. What do you think? Doesn't exactly sound like,
It's giving Indiana Jones vibes for sure.
right.
Yeah.
Like hidden temple, lost city, that kind of thing.
Lots of intrigue.
Definitely intrigued. So Guptakashi, it's nestled high up in the Garhwal Himalayas of Uttarakhand, India. What is it about this place that makes it so special?
Well, first off, just picture yourself there.
Yeah.
You're at over 4,300 feet.
Wow.
Surrounded by these incredible snow-capped peaks, lush valleys. You've got the Mandakini River roaring through it.
Sounds pretty idyllic so far.
It's really something else. But it's not just the scenery. What truly sets Guptakashi apart is this unique blend of history, mythology, spirituality, all wrapped up in this one place.
Okay, history and mythology. I am so there. Lay it on me. What's the story?
Well, it's deeply, deeply intertwined with the Mahabharata.
One of the great Hindu epics.
Exactly. One of the most important ones, really. And the story goes that the Pandava brothers, after they fought the Kurukshetra War,
Right.
they were, well, let's just say they were looking for some serious atonement for their actions.
Understandably.
So they go on this pilgrimage to find Lord Shiva.
Okay, and Shiva, he's not exactly the, let's hang out type of deity, is he?
No, not really. He's known for being a bit elusive, the ultimate ascetic.
Right.
So naturally, Shiva wants to avoid any encounters with the Pandavas. He's like, nope, not dealing with this right now.
I can relate.
And get this, he goes incognito, takes the form of Nandi, his bull.
Wait, so Shiva is disguised as a bull. Sneaky.
Exactly. And he heads straight for, you guessed it, Guptakashi. Figures he'll lay low there for a while.
Okay, but Shiva might have underestimated the Pandavas, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Those guys, they were relentless.
We're bummed by guilt. Probably some divine intervention, too.
Totally. So eventually, they track Shiva down to this very spot, Guptakashi.
This is where the story gets good, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, this is where it gets interesting. So picture this. Bhima, the strongest of the Pandavas.
The muscles of the operation.
Exactly. He actually tries to grab Shiva in bull form. Can you imagine?
Bold move.
Talk about bold. But Shiva, being a god and all, wasn't too keen on being manhandled.
Right, yeah.
So what does he do? Vanishes. Poof. Gone.
Just like...
Just like that. Into thin air. Or, well, into the earth, actually. And this, my friend, this disappearing act, is how Guptakashi got its name.
Hidden Kashi.
Hidden Kashi.
Okay, so hidden, check. But Kashi, what does that even mean? Fill us in.
So Kashi, or Varanasi, as it's known today, that's basically the holy grail for Hindus.
Like a super sacred city.
Super sacred, huge spiritual energy. It's the ultimate pilgrimage site for millions.
Okay, I'm getting that. But how does our hidden Kashi, Guptakashi, fit into the picture?
So imagine this. There's Kashi, right? The big one. And then scattered throughout India, you have these 6 other Kashi.
Like spiritual sequels.
Kind of. But they're not meant to replace Varanasi. It's more like they offer another path,
I see.
For pilgrims who can't make it to the main Kashi, for whatever reason, these other Kashis make that spiritual energy accessible.
I like that. Accessible spirituality. Okay, so we've got a Mahabharata connection, a hidden city vibe, and these alternate Kashis. But what about the town itself? What's it actually like to be in Guptakashi?
It's basically a town built for worshiping Shiva. I mean, it's everywhere you look.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. It's like they say, as many Shivas as stones in Guptakashi. You'll find lingas, these symbolic representations of Shiva, literally everywhere.
Wow. So we're talking serious dedication to Shiva here.
Serious dedication.
Okay, so we've talked about the temples, the stories, the mythology kind of woven into the very fabric of the town. But I know we touched on this earlier. Guptakashi is in the Himalayas, right? So I have to imagine the scenery is pretty spectacular.
Oh, it's incredible. Absolutely breathtaking. Remember those snow-capped peaks, the lush valleys I mentioned earlier, and that roaring Mandakini River? Yeah.
Well, they're not just a backdrop. Guptakashi is a nature lover's dream.
So we're talking more than just a pilgrimage site then?
Way more. Imagine trekking through these vibrant green forests.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
The air is filled with this fragrance of champa. It's the local magnolia tree, especially during blooming season. It's intoxicating.
That's amazing. And speaking of trekking, I read that there are some pretty cool trails around Guptakashi. Anything come to mind?
Oh, yeah. There are tons. You could spend weeks exploring, honestly. One of the most popular ones leads to the Madhyamaheshwar temple. It's another one of the Panch Kedars.
Oh, right. The 5 forms of Shiva.
Exactly. So it's about a 25-kilometer trek northeast of Guptakashi.
That's a good hike.
It is, but worth it. I mean, the scenery along the way is incredible, and then actually getting to the temple,
Yeah.
breathtaking.
What is it about the scenery on that particular trail?
So imagine, like, hiking through forests of rhododendrons, and they're in full bloom.
These vibrant colors against this really intense green of the landscape. And the whole time, you've got these views.
Yeah.
The snow-capped peaks of Chaukhamba, Kedarnath, Nilkanth.
No kidding.
They're all kind of looming in the distance. It's an incredible experience.
I bet. It sounds amazing. But, okay, let's say, not everyone's up for a multi-day trek. Are there things to see that are a bit closer to the town itself?
Absolutely. I mean, even just strolling around Guptakashi is an experience.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a place called the Gandhi Sarovar, which is really interesting.
Gandhi Sarovar. Okay, I remember reading about that. It's a lake, right?
Yep. A really serene lake about 2 kilometers from Guptakashi.
Okay, not too far.
Nope. It's a great place for, quiet contemplation. And it actually has some historical significance, too. It's where Mahatma Gandhi's ashes were immersed.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. So it's a place where, history and spirituality intersect.
That's incredible.
That's incredible. And what about those glacial lakes? I keep seeing these pictures, especially of Vasukitel Lake. I mean, it's like another planet.
Yeah. Vasukitel is incredible. It's actually near Kedarnath, so you could, in theory, combine it with that trek.
Okay.
But yeah, the way the light hits the ice formations, just mesmerizing, magical.
Okay, Vasuko. Got it. Adding that to the list. Before we move on, I wanted to circle back to something. We were talking about Ukimath, the town across the river from Guptakashi.
Yeah.
I was reading about the stupa there that has a pretty interesting story attached to it.
Oh, right. Ukimath is interesting because during the winter months, when Kedarnath is totally inaccessible because of the snow, they actually bring the symbolic deity.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the Kedarnath temple, they bring it down to Ukimath.
Like a winter vacation for a god.
It's kind of like that.
Mm.
And they worship it there during those months. And get this, the priests from Kedarnath, during this time, they actually live in Guptakashi.
Oh, wow. So there's this really strong connection between the two towns.
Definitely. But you were saying something about a stupa.
Yes. In Ukimath, what's the story? It sounded kind of mysterious.
Local legend claims that it's the final resting place of Nala from the Mahabharata.
Oh, right. I think I remember that story. He was a king, right?
Yeah, a king who was known for his righteousness. But his life was full of turmoil, love, loss, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Ultimately, redemption. But it's pretty amazing when you think about it.
What's that?
How these ancient stories, they're so present in the landscape,
Mm-hmm.
You can practically feel the Mahabharata in these places.
Yeah, it's true. It's almost like stepping back in time.
It really is.
Which reminds me, there's that other story, that love story, Krishna's grandson and the demon king's daughter.
Ah, yes, Aniruddha and Usha. That story is said to have happened in Ramgarh, which is near Guptakashi.
See, it's like every time we turn a corner, there's a new story.
Exactly. But yeah, Aniruddha, Krishna's grandson, falls for this woman, Usha, and wouldn't you know it, she just happens to be the daughter of this powerful demon king Banasura.
Talk about a recipe for disaster.
I know, right? So naturally, it's forbidden love.
Of course. Had to be. What else would it be?
And it leads to all this drama. I mean, we're talking divine intervention, huge battles.
Oh, I bet.
It's the stuff of legends.
It really is. So much history, so many stories. Okay, so you've convinced me I have to go. But on a practical level, for someone who's now furiously adding Guptakashi to their bucket list, what does it actually take to get there? So how do we get there? Give us the lowdown.
Well, the good news is it's relatively easy to get to, especially if you're already planning a pilgrimage to Kedarnath.
Okay, good to know.
Guptakashi is well connected by road. The closest major town is Rudraprayag. It's about 39 kilometers away.
Okay, so I could fly into Delhi maybe,
Yeah,
take a train to Rishikesh, and then it's just a bus ride from there.
exactly. Or a taxi if you prefer.
Options, I like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there are actually buses that are specifically for pilgrims going to Kedarnath.
Oh, that's cool. So you're with people who are on a similar journey.
Exactly. It adds to the whole experience.
I bet. Okay, so getting there, pretty straightforward. But timing is everything, right? When would you say is the best time to visit Guptakashi?
Well, you're in luck. Guptakashi actually has really nice weather for a good part of the year. If you're okay with warmer temperatures, then March to June is perfect.
Okay, so spring, early summer.
Exactly. It starts to get really hot after that, and then the monsoon hits.
Right, definitely want to avoid monsoon season. What about the fall? I love that crisp autumn air.
October and November are beautiful.
No kidding.
Yeah, the monsoon will have just ended, so everything is lush and green,
Oh, I bet.
and the weather is still really mild. Perfect for trekking, exploring the temples.
Okay, I'm sold. Guptakashi in the fall it is. It's really incredible when you think about it.
What's that?
Just how much is packed into this one place.
Hmm.
We've got myths, legends, incredible temples, stunning natural beauty. Guptakashi really does have it all.
It really does. It's like this perfect blend of, history, spirituality, and nature, and all set against this incredible Himalayan backdrop.
It's the perfect example of how powerful a sense of place can be. We could talk for hours about all the things that make Guptakashi so special, but I think we've definitely given our listeners a lot to think about and maybe even inspired a few trips in the process.
I hope so. It's a truly magical place, Guptakashi. Hidden Kashi. Hidden Kashi. And on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive on Guptakashi. Until next time, keep exploring.